Dobre rano. I'm delighted to see so many of you here and to have this opportunity to speak to you about Feuerstein instrumental enrichment. Now, the very first rule that I heard when I started to study FIA is you're not allowed to judge. You cannot say this is an intelligent response and this is a stupid one. You're not allowed to make invidious comparisons where this participant is withdrawn and unemotional and not participating, and this other one is active and a part of the process. But once you've absorbed this elementary principle of not insulting or even praising in an exaggerated way your students, the fact is that Feuerstein instrumental enrichment is all about judging, all about evaluating what is in front and what is in back, what is big and what is small, what goes together, what doesn't go together. Does it belong to this group of objects or it doesn't belong, it belongs someplace else? And I would like to talk about this need for judgment and evaluation in the context of two illustrated exercises in FIA, which are part of a general unit known as From Empathy to Action. And the principle is you see first someone in trouble, suffering, and you also see 4 different responses of an outsider to that suffering. And you have to identify what's involved in each response and to decide in your own mind to judge what is the most appropriate response. Now, the first exercise shows a young boy, let's say 12 years old, who has somehow managed on a clear day, without any obstacles in front of him, to tear completely his pants. And we see him crying, sobbing. I mean, to get that quantity of tears, you really have to be upset. We don't know why. Was there something special about the pants? Is he accident prone generally? Maybe he has a disability of some sort and he pities himself for it. Someone is waiting for him who will be angry with him. We have no idea. All we see is this. Then we have different responses. Here is one. A little girl bursts out crying, presumably seeing his tears, brings him a glass of water to comfort him, which is understandable. But he continues crying at least as hard as he did before, or almost anyway, and nothing happens to the pants and nothing happens to his mood. A second way of responding to this situation is this young girl who comes with a needle and thread and who somehow imagines that if she repairs his pants, that something will happen and he will stop crying. But she's begging him to allow her to help him. And so far, no effect. And then we have the answer that the teacher's pet likes best. Out of nowhere, a young girl appears with a new pair of pants, exactly the right size. The young boy is completely happy. Whatever the reason for his tears is resolved. And, we all say to each other, this is how we should behave with others. We should show our generosity and answer their needs. Really? This, to my mind, is magical thinking. You have a problem, someone will appear out of nowhere and solve it. Popelka, You know the story, right? The fairy godmother comes, dresses her up, she goes off to the ball, she becomes the queen, and the wicked stepsisters and stepmother are duly punished, or at least chastised, depending on how friendly a version of Popelka you know. Here, for the purpose of this presentation, is the solution that I prefer. This fellow is in exactly the same state as he was before, crying over his torn pants. And a girl who might be old enough to be of romantic interest comes by and laughs at him. You silly boy, there's war, there's persecution, there's famine, there's disease, and you're falling to pieces over tearing your pants in a ridiculous way. Ha ha ha. What we don't see is whether this scorn affects this boy at all. But it's a way of reminding us in any given situation that there's a real world outside. There are competing needs, and that this fellow who's doing nothing to help himself might be somewhat at fault for his victimization. Here is the second exercise. What do we see here? We see a bicycle that has fallen apart in a particular way. The screws have come out on the front wheel. And the boy, who apparently was riding the bike, is sitting by the side of the road, moping, brooding. We don't know what he's thinking about. Is he late for a meeting? Did he ignore the wobbly wheel beforehand? Does this sort of thing always happen to him? We don't know. But we are put in the position of someone coming by and observing the situation. I've put the responses to this situation in the same order. So here we have, remember the girl with a glass of water? Here is someone coming, comforting him. Oh, you poor fellow. Totally unmoved by this sign of sympathy. And frankly, who cares? His bicycle is busted. Isn't that the issue? What about his feelings? The second boy comes along, and he takes it upon himself to at least wrap up or tie up the bicycle so that it can be taken away. And our principal personage, this young boy, sits there, does nothing, is not helping, and is not cheered up at all. Who needs such help? And once again, the generous, altruistic condition. Out of nowhere appears a boy on a bike with a free seat. He takes this fellow, just like giving him a new pair of pants, and takes him away. And as for the old bicycle, who needs that? It's left there, it's abandoned. This is how we suddenly forget all of our troubles and are saved by magical intervention. And then the response that I like. A little boy comes along riding his bike and pays no attention whatsoever to this young boy sitting on the curb, moping with a broken bike. Why should he? Why should he? Is there any reason to expect that this boy can't deal with his broken bike? But look what happens. This fellow's obviously been habituated to being helped by anyone who comes by in all kinds of ways. And suddenly no one is giving that help, and he gets aroused. He calls out. He finally does something that perhaps would attract help. And we know that one of the great advantages of Feuerstein is building enough self-confidence, enough sense of your own strength, that you can reach out and ask for help. Nowhere in any of these pictures is there any hint of Yechiel and Marzenka, Hansel and Gretel, where, if you recall, Hansel fools the witch by holding out a stick instead of his plump finger, so she will think he's not ready to be eaten. And Marzenka claims that, oh, she can't go into the oven, and could the witch test if it's hot enough? And then she shoves her in. This is resourcefulness. This is taking responsibility for your own predicament. Isn't that a much more desirable outcome than believing that someone will come from nowhere with a solution to your problem? So what we've looked at are the individual exercises, the individual solutions, and we've been judging them and evaluating them, and certainly you are free to have your own evaluation. I'm just sharing mine. But also the exercises themselves. If you take from empathy to action, the focus is on the outsider. What does the outsider feel? What will the outsider do? What if we turn that around and make the exercise from self-pitying do-nothingness to a sense of responsibility and initiative? It seems to me that this is what Feuerstein teaches. From the very first exercise of connecting the dots, you are concerned about building self-confidence, of uncovering from within the student his or her own hidden capabilities. The one failure that I know about in this instruction method was in an institution for children with disabilities, where the staff was so filled with compassion and pity for the children that they didn't demand of them anything. And without any demands, the children got used to having things done for them. So Feuerstein instrumental enrichment is a path away from dependency, a path away from thinking that you are the center of things when there's a problem, as opposed to the person suffering himself. What you do in strengthening your students' capabilities is a noble task. It's a useful task to this society. And if it's oriented properly, it can raise the whole capability of all of us. Děkuji vám.